Good day, everyone, and welcome to my channel. Before we dive into any parametric test in SPSS, one crucial step is to check whether our data follows a normal distribution. This process is called testing for normality. Remember, testing for normality isn't just a technical requirement. It ensures that your analysis is reliable and that the conclusions you draw are trustworthy. In this guide, we'll walk step by step through the process, so you'll be confident that your data is ready for analysis. Now that we've introduced the idea of testing for normality, let's talk about why normality really matters in statistical analysis. Parametric tests like the t-test, analysis of variance, ANOVA, Pearson correlation, and linear regression are built on the assumption that your data follows a bell-shaped, symmetric distribution. This assumption is the foundation of these methods. But here's the risk. If your data significantly violates normality, the p-values you calculate may be inaccurate, and that can lead to completely wrong conclusions. Imagine making a decision based on results that look statistically sound but are actually misleading. In reality, data is rarely perfectly normal. The key question isn't whether your data is flawless. It's whether the deviations from normality are severe enough to compromise your analysis. That's why checking normality is such a critical step before running parametric tests. Now let's move into the practical side of testing for normality in SPSS. One of the most efficient ways to do this is through the Explore procedure, your all-in-one normality toolkit. Here's how it works step by step. First, open the Analyze menu. This is where all of SPSS's statistical tools are located. Next, go to Descriptive Statistics. This section contains options for summarizing and exploring your data. Finally, select Explore. This command allows you to run normality tests, generate plots, and check distributional assumptions all in one place. A quick reminder, make sure your continuous variables are set to scale in variable view before running the procedure. This ensures SPSS treats them correctly during the analysis. With Explore, you'll get both visual outputs, like histograms and QQ plots, and statistical tests such as Shapiro-Wilk, giving you a complete picture of whether your data meets the normality assumption. Once you've run the Explore procedure in SPSS, the next step is to visualize normality. Visual tools give you an intuitive sense of whether your data follows a normal distribution. The first tool is the histogram. This plot shows the frequency distribution of your data. What you're looking for is a shape that approximates a bell curve. If you see heavy skewness or a very flat distribution, that's a warning sign that your data may not be normal. The second tool is the QQ plot, or quantile plot. This compares your data's quantiles against those of a theoretical normal distribution. If the points closely follow the diagonal line, your data is likely normal. But if the points deviate sharply, that suggests violations of the assumption. Together, histograms and QQ plots provide a powerful way to visually assess distributional shape before you rely on statistical tests. Think of them as your first checkpoint in validating normality. After visualizing your data, the next step is to run numerical tests for normality. These tests provide statistical evidence to confirm whether your data follows a normal distribution. The most widely used is the Shapiro-Wilk test. It's generally preferred because of its strong statistical power and is recommended for sample sizes up to about 2,000. For most analyses, this is the go-to choice. Another option is the Kolmogorov-Smirnov test. While often less powerful than Shapiro-Wilk, it's still commonly reported in research outputs and can serve as an alternative check. Both tests operate under the same hypotheses. The null hypothesis, H0, states that your data is normally distributed. The alternative hypothesis, H1, states that your data is not normal. If the test result is significant, you reject the null hypothesis, which means there's evidence of non-normality in your data. Together with visual tools, these numerical tests give you a complete picture of whether your data meets the assumptions required for parametric analysis. Once you've run your normality tests in SPSS, it's time to interpret the output. This is where you translate numbers and plots into meaningful insights. Start with the statistical tests and p-values. A p-value less than 0.05 indicates a deviation from normality. But be cautious. When your sample size is large, even tiny, practically irrelevant deviations can become statistically significant. So, always interpret p-values alongside other indicators. Next, check the skewness values. As a general rule, values between 1 and +1 suggest acceptable normality. If your skewness goes beyond +2, that's a clear sign of a serious distributional problem. Finally, look at your visual plots. A heavily skewed histogram or QQ plot points that stray far from the diagonal line both indicate non-normality. These visuals help you confirm what the numbers are telling you. By combining p-values, skewness, and visual inspection, you'll have a balanced and reliable interpretation of your data's distribution, ensuring your analysis stands on solid statistical ground. So what happens if your data doesn't meet the normality assumption? Don't worry. You still have options. The first option is to use non-parametric alternatives. These tests don't rely on distributional assumptions. For example, instead of an independent samples t-test, you can use the Mann-Whitney U-test. The second option is to apply data transformations. Functions like the logarithm or square root can reshape skewed data, making it closer to a normal distribution. This approach is especially useful when your data has strong skewness. And finally, you can proceed with justification. For minor deviations, especially when your sample size is greater than 30, parametric tests are often robust enough to handle the imperfections. The key here is transparency. Document your rationale clearly so your audience understands why you proceeded. In short, when normality fails, you're not stuck. You can adapt your analysis, transform your data, or justify your approach, ensuring your conclusions remain valid and defensible. Let's put everything we've learned into practice by testing the job satisfaction rating data. In this example, we're working with responses from 19 basic education teachers. Because the sample size is small, the Shapiro-Wilk test is the most appropriate choice for assessing normality. Here's how to do it in SPSS. Go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Explore. Move, Job Satisfaction. Rating to the dependent list, click Plots. Then check histogram and normality plots with tests. Click OK to run the procedure. Once the output appears, examine the histogram for any skewness and review the Shapiro-Wilk and Kolmogorov-Smirnov test results. With only 19 observations, focus primarily on the Shapiro-Wilk value. If your p-value is greater than 0.05 and the histogram looks roughly bell-shaped, you can confidently proceed with parametric tests. This means your data meets the normality assumption, and your analysis will yield valid, reliable results. And that wraps up our walkthrough of testing for normality in SPSS using the job satisfaction rating data. Remember, checking assumptions is not just a technical step. It's the foundation of trustworthy analysis. Stay tuned for our upcoming videos, where we'll dive deeper into SPSS tutorials. including more hands-on demonstrations of how to determine normality and choose the right statistical tests for your data. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more SPSS tutorials.